Today on Contested Layups, Kyrie Irving is donezo. Can the Celtics make it past the first round? And did the Cavs actually win the Kyrie trade? Next, Corey Brewer is out there serving. The guys take a look at waiver wire pickups and the future of the G League. Lastly, KD is furious. The CL crew take a look at NBA refs and what they can do better. Let's get it!
What's up, everyone?
What's up?
Good morning.
Welcome to the Contested Layups podcast. It's a 5-man pod tonight.
Pod.
Who we got?
John always goes first.
I always go first. Am I the Scottie Pippen of this group? Cool. I'm John.
Did Scottie Pippen go first?
Yeah.
Like what? In what?
Who are you?
Intros.
Feed.
Garnick.
It's Raul.
Yeah.
Eddie. Episode number 23. Remember, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Jordan birthday.
And YouTube by searching Contested Layups episodes for full episodes and more.
Gar's darn right.
All right, let's get popping. We're going to get
Subscribe.
started right now. Kyrie Irving is done for the year. What's happening with the Celtics, y'all? Are they done?
Yes.
Are the Celtics done?
Yes.
Are they making it out of the first round?
Yes. Next topic. They're done. Next topic.
I know they're going to be in the first round, but who are they playing in the first round?
Probably Milwaukee or the Heat.
Done first round. They'll win in the first round.
Not necessarily.
Wizards, maybe.
I mean, they have enough talent on the team to win in the first round.
Do they?
Marcus Smart's out.
I mean, you don't think Rozier and freaking Jaylen Brown are good enough to?
Jason Tatum is really nice, but man, I don't know.
If it's Miami, no.
Agreed. Thank you.
Yeah.
No.
There's no
There's
way
no
they
way.
make it past Miami.
Miami is not going to let that happen.
Yeah, Miami's loaded.
I don't know.
Milwaukee might have a better chance. They might have a better chance to advance in the first round, but it'll be a difficult one. It'll be a long series for sure.
Yeah, I'll give them 40% against Miami and 60%
Yeah,
against Milwaukee.
I would say.
All right.
It'd be a nice series though. It'd go to Game 7 in my opinion.
Rozier is about to turn up in these playoffs. I feel like it's coming out party for these guys. They're so young and they're reckless when they start getting on hot streaks. Once the lights turn up, these guys are young. This is about to be their first taste of playoffs. Playoffs slows down. It gets a little crazy, and they're so skilled individually that I feel like their game will also grow in the playoffs. People step it up to another. We've seen
Yeah, I
playoff
agree.
LeBron.
I agree.
We've seen playoff LeBron. I do think Miami's more of a heavy matchup. I don't want to see Dwayne Wade. I don't want to see Dwayne Wade in any playoff game.
I'm with you, V. I got the Celtics over the Heat and the Bucks. I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are gonna do really well. Obviously, it's all gonna depend on how much these guys step up. They're not gonna beat them if they don't step up. Obviously,
And you got your Hall of Famer,
yeah, Al Horford.
Al Horford.
You do?
I think Boston has the size. I agree. I think Rozier's gonna come up big. Gonna come up big for them in this first round.
The second round, if they make it, probably play the Cavs.
Yeah.
Guys, you're
Done.
relying on some rookies and some second-year players
you.
against
Thank you.
Miami. Against
Yeah,
Spoelstra.
but Miami is relying on who? Kelly Olynyk?
Goran
Kelly
Dragic.
Olynyk killing it right now.
Bam Adebayo.
Really?
I mean, these guys haven't really been in there either. I mean, they haven't been in the playoffs.
They got
Kelly Olynyk was with Boston last year, and he made it to the conference finals. Right?
Yeah.
But he didn't play.
Dude, yes he did.
He barely.
All right. Bottom line: no one whose first name is Terry or Doug will ever be relied upon to go
Good
deep
call.
in the playoffs.
You're talking about Doug McDermott?
Wait a minute.
No, any Doug or any Terry
Doug Christie?
or Doug Christie.
Wow. What?
No, that's the exception.
All right.
A little.
Tony Douglas.
He's like,
no.
He didn't
is
go in the playoffs. I don't
No.
think.
is Doug Christie a poor man's version of Kerry Kittles, or is Kerry Kittles a poor man's version of Doug Christie?
Terry Kittles is a poor man's version of Doug Christie.
What?
Duh.
No, I don't think so. No way.
Becoming a real NBA podcast now.
No
Are you
way.
for realsies right now?
Man.
Are you serious about that? I think
Dude,
it's the other way
Sacktown
around.
versus- Who would you rather Who is a better team?
Nets. Or
Sacktown
the Nets.
or the Nets? Like early 2000
for sure,
Sacktown or mid
Sacktown.
2000
For sure, Sacktown.
Before Kid, Sacktown, but after Kid, you got to go with the Nets. Clearly.
No.
Dude, for sure, they
No,
made 2
GTFO.
finals.
I
They made 2
gotta
finals.
I gotta agree with
Coming
Garner.
out of the East.
And with the Sacramento Kings, that would have never happened if it wasn't for the Tim Donaghy scandal. Again.
True.
No, I'm with
I
Kerry.
think
I'm
you're
with
right.
Kerry Kittles, but I still wouldn't want to play Sacramento.
Kenyon Martin was the second best player on that team.
All right. Back to the Kyrie thing.
What? Not over the Cavs though. Second round, that shit shuts down.
Second round, it's over.
Definitely not over the Cavs, but I think they could beat Miami, dude.
No.
You're relying on young
I don't
talent
think
on
so.
Miami too.
Yeah, but you also have
Josh
two pretty
Richardson,
polished pieces there.
James Johnson.
James Johnson is
No,
like
he's
30.
not young, but he might as well be
but
young because he
Tyler
just started
Johnson-
coming along.
Was
Tyler Johnson. Your two centers are not as good as Al Horford.
Oh, it doesn't even. Greg Monroe's killing it right now over Miami.
What? What?
Listen.
do you mean?
One thing's for sure. If they play, if whoever plays the Bucks is going, they're done. So that's all I'm saying. Anyway,
God, get out of here, dude.
Are the Bucks gonna make it? Is the East officially?
Yeah,
they'll
they
make
made
it.
it.
They made it somehow.
we made it
Somehow.
way better than Lakers forever.
Clearly.
But back to the Kyrie Irving thing. This brings up the bigger question: who won that trade? The Cavs or the Celtics?
The Celtics.
The Celtics. Next question.
Celtics.
Yeah, Celtics.
No matter what, the Celtics have Kyrie,
Okay, and
For a long
Kyrie has 3 surgeries on
and
his
the-
same knee in 3 years.
and the Cavs are gonna have
A top 10 pick.
a top 10 pick, which is gonna be somebody that's not gonna be Kyrie.
And 2 players who are playing in this year's playoffs: Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance. You at least have serviceable players for this year, and you have a young talent coming in next year. And if LeBron decides to stay, say they go to the finals, if LeBron stays again, you at least have that coming back. The Celtics have a guy who's had 3 knee surgeries in 3 years.
Okay, but
Look what happened with Derrick Rose.
But the other
Oh
two.
no, he said it. Damn it.
I did. I
The
had
other,
to, though.
The other
No, you
2
don't.
years,
Yes, I
though,
did.
You're discussing players that weren't even involved in the Kyrie trade. And Kyrie,
No, I mean, I
Indirectly.
understand, but indirectly they were. Because
It is
Thomas
possible.
and, they all got dealt. So
But-
basically go ahead.
But if all right, say the Cavs don't win the playoffs this year,
Okay.
so do you think Kyrie comes back at 100% next year?
He probably should, yeah.
So he should have a year or 2 with 100% of championship potential.
Okay, but you're relying on something that you don't know right now. All I know is right now he's had 3 knee surgeries. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem for any franchise player. Clearly, as we know in Chicago.
Kyrie's so good. I'll take Kyrie over Jordan Clarkson.
Tell that to me in 2 years when he hasn't played more than 30 games after he's had another surgery on his knee.
Tell that to me next year after Kyrie smashes.
I don't know if it's fair to really include the secondary trades as part of this discussion. Look at the original trade at face value.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you can't consider the Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance aspect of it. When they traded, this is what they got. This is what they traded for. Kyrie for Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder
And a pick, yeah.
and a pick. And if you look at that,
And Kobe Altman pulled some rabbits out of some hats with the shit he did at the trade deadline. The way he dumped all those players.
Yeah, he
that was
did.
impressive. He did end up giving up their own pick, which should be considered if you are going to consider the secondary trades as part of this discussion, first of all. Second of all, they got rid of some other players that were not a part of the original trade. I mean, it's not apples to apples to me. It's apples and oranges.
this is what you knew with the trade when it happened. You knew that you were getting an injury-prone Kyrie Irving, but you also knew that you were getting
I wouldn't say Kyrie was
an
injury-prone.
injury-ridden. Why not?
He hadn't gotten hurt in the past 2 years. He was healthy.
So?
He was fine the past 2 years after his surgery. They won the title in 2016, and then he was fine in 2017. He's not injury prone at that time, but then he got hurt. Then he gets hurt again, or then he has to have these procedures on his knee.
How's Russell Westbrook's knees looking?
Okay,
Great.
Kyrie will be alright.
Kyrie's going to be fine. Either way, when you look at it, are you willing to risk giving up your injury-ridden player for Kyrie, which is Isaiah Thomas? They weren't sold that Isaiah Thomas was going to be completely healthy or whatever. They knew that he had a hip injury. They knew that Kyrie could get injured with his knee. But you go on Kyrie's credentials, and you go on what he can give you. And when you look at that trade, even with Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance and the Cavs getting their pick, because even if it only works out for one season, you're knocking on that door heavy.
Obviously, this trade will take a long time to really play out because of the pick and seeing how the pick goes with the Cavs if it pans out for Cleveland or if it doesn't.
I actually think Kyrie could probably even play by the second round. I think he's going to be fine. I think Boston...
He's out 4 to 5 months. He's done.
No, I know. But I don't think that if it came down to it and they really felt that they had like a good shot at it, that maybe they probably wouldn't have,
That's a fair point.
They wouldn't have done the surgery at all.
What he's saying is if Gordon Hayward was still around and they had a legitimate shot to win the ship, you may not have had the surgery, right?
Yeah.
They got 50-something wins. I mean, it's still a legit shot.
No, it's not.
They've played the entire season without him.
I think they realized or came to terms with the fact that I guess we could have a chance, but let's just keep Kyrie out and make sure everybody gets back healthy for next year.
Cut your losses this season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, and if he was still on the Cavs, he may still be playing.
Because they would have been in title contention, they probably would have had close to 60 wins right now.
Bingo. Yeah.
But I don't know.
And he admits defeat.
No, I don't. Because the problem in his knee was it was a bacteria issue. If he still plays and then all of a sudden he gets infected, then his career might be done. If the bacteria that was in his knee continued to progress, then he would have had way more problems in the future.
Yeah, but
way bigger problems in the future.
With modern medical, we're good now, right? You believe we're good, right?
I don't know.
Because they got it before it ruined anything?
Apparently.
Then how do you think Celtics don't win this?
Because there are three surgeries on the same knee in 3 years.
So you're thinking he could be the next Brandon Roy?
Brandon Roy. I knew you were going to fucking say, yeah.
Had to switch it up on you.
You did, but I don't know. You don't, for real though, you don't know what can happen when you have 3 knee surgeries, and that's why I'm saying that the Cavs might have won the trade because you at least get a healthy player coming out of college, and you got 2 healthy guys for this year's playoffs.
Cavs are going to wind up losing the trade, like Garnick said, because unless they could keep LeBron there, that shit's over with, dude.
Right. It's a moot point if LeBron
It's over
leaves.
with after this season. If LeBron leaves, either way, Boston won the trade.
Right. The only possible way they can win it, hypothetically speaking, is if LeBron stays and the pick they get turns into a real good player. I don't think that's a sure thing. I mean, let's say you're drafting 7th. That's not a sure thing by any means.
All right, let's go to our next segment. We're talking about unheralded guys in the NBA, some waiver wire pickups, some G League guys, some guys on 2-way contracts right now. We're talking about players such as Corey Brewer of the Thunder,
My boy.
Greg Monroe of the Celtics, Gerald Green of the Houston Rockets, Quinn Cook on the Golden State Warriors. All these guys are likely going to the playoffs. So can all these guys have impacts on their playoff teams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Corey Brewer obviously stands out. And I don't think he should be balked in with the rest of those scrubs.
Dude, all right.
I know they're not scrubs.
Gerald
Green,
Green, 11.6 points a game, 2.4 threes a game.
Okay.
On 7.1 attempts.
Okay, from 3, yes. We get it. My point is, Corey Brewer has had a great career to date. He had a 50-point game in him, like way back when. Like, he's been around for a long time. And he's been... At one point in his career, he was a borderline all-star. I'll say it. There it is.
It's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there, everybody. You said it.
Yeah, I don't think he should be compared to the rest of them, and because in his specific case, he's a key part of that team, and rightfully so. I mean, he's a perfect fit.
He's the starter, but Quinn Cook's also starting.
Right,
He's averaging over 30. He'll be starting until at least the end of the first round.
That don't impress me much.
Have you seen the Western Conference race, dude? You don't know who's going to play. What if they play the Spurs in the first round?
Ooh, that would be spicy.
What if they play the Thunder in the first round? Quinn Cook's got to guard Russell Westbrook, man.
Do not.
Smash
The
Take that
Spurs, Thunder are
scared of no
the
Golden
last
State
two
this
teams
year,
that
dude.
won Golden State.
Nobody's scared of Golden State.
If Kawhi comes back in the
Shots
first
fired.
round for Golden State, we're back 1 year today. Second
Always.
He's the only person who understands me.
So, but that's what I'm saying though, is that these guys are going to have to play
Corey Brewer by far is going to be the guy to get us in the playoffs, and if anything, he will be the guy that will be one of the guys that help us.
Dude, that's my
make
guy.
it to the
Come on,
next.
that's my guy.
Make it to the next
That's
round.
Florida right there.
Corey Brewer is
reunited with his college coach. Come on.
I said it in my final thought a couple podcasts ago. He is a huge difference maker for that team, just because of the fact that they can play at such a faster pace when he's on the floor. He's a very good on-ball defender. He's a very good just all-around defender, and he can also hit the
3-and-D.
Yeah, he can hit open threes, which is something that Andre Roberson can't do.
Greg Monroe should get a lot more love. Just for the simple fact, I know he had his trip from Milwaukee to Phoenix, and then now he's in Boston, but we always said it was an aberration why he didn't play, because every time he gets more than 20 minutes, he gets 20 and 20 or something stupid. And last game, he had 17 and 8, and the game before, he had 9 and 10, which even as 9, if you get 9 and 10 off the bench for a backup center in the league,
that's solid.
In the playoffs,
Super
like,
solid.
I'll take that.
And you got him off waivers.
And you got him for nothing. A backup center in the NBA playoffs is so necessary. I feel like having your bench be deep is something that comes huge. Like, it's, for instance, why you want Denver to make the playoffs, because Denver was always notorious for having 2 starting lineups.
Yeah,
like
right.
you can get in there with Denver and, like, who's the backup here? Oh shit, Wilson Chandler. And that's what Boston's banking on too, is going through the first round. We could at least have that. So I feel Greg Monroe is something that's an impact other than Corey Brewer, because Corey Brewer is just going to play. Like, he's just got a lot of playing time. As far as just picking someone up that can just instantly impact your team, that's
Monroe.
it. But
Yeah.
Monroe
Let me
is
see. Lay on me Quinn Cook stats. Let me see that.
I
All right.
just don't- but-
Quinn Cook in the
your retainer.
in the last 10 games, in the last 2 weeks, over 30 minutes a game, 16 points, 2.3 threes, 5.6 assists. That's real though. He's had a couple of 25 plus point scoring games. He's had a 30-point scoring game. He's out there killing.
Yeah,
He's
but
not going to make Steph
He's
Curry
the benefit
expendable.
of
No, I'm not
a
saying
really
he's
good
saying
team,
he's
though.
No, I understand, but all he's got to do is just fill a role. All he's got to do is just fill a role, be ready to shoot when he's open.
yeah, but he's going to fill a role that's going to be filled by Steph Curry.
No, I understand, but
Ian Clark did the same thing last year when Steph Curry got his ankle injury, and he had some games where he won 15, 20-point games just because he's catching the ball. Now he's getting the ball from Durant.
That's what I'm saying, though. If the Warriors play the Thunder or the Warriors play the Spurs, he's going to have to come through. Is he going to do that for Golden State?
In the playoffs, depending on who they play, if they're playing the Thunder, probably not. They're probably not going to rely on him to try to score 30 points.
They're not going to rely on him to score 30, but he's going to just have to be ready to shoot and be knocking down his shots. And, he's going to have to guard Russell Westbrook.
Golden State's too deep. It's going to be 5 games if the Spurs or OKC meet them.
Okay.
Yo,
7
7-game knockout, drag out. Yo, Kawhi coming
See you
back.
later, Golden State. You better hope we don't. You better hope.
I hope you guys like fishing, because there's Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson left. I'm sure they'll make up the difference.
Right, that's enough firepower
Yeah.
right there to get past anyone.
Anyone in the first round, yes, I agree.
It's awesome to see some of these G League players.
Yep.
Just not only like there's so many of them that are like coming in more now. Like I think the first one was what Sundiata Gaines. Was that the first guy
Holy
that was
shit.
called up from the G League?
Wow.
And how long ago was that? That wasn't even that long ago.
No, that was over 10 years ago.
Was it over 10 years ago?
It's like 2006.
Say the name one more time.
Sunday games.
Sundiata
Yes,
Gaines.
baby.
Yep.
Sunday
Yeah.
night.
He had like 2 game winners in his first
Yeah,
2
but
games.
I remember it doesn't seem like that long ago, but yeah, like I remember when it was like a big deal. Oh my God, Sundiata Gaines, he got called up, and then over the years you have the guys like Danny Green
Jeremy
and
Lin.
Jeremy Lin, and then now it's like nothing. Oh, we're gonna call up this guy. We're almost every day of the season.
That's two-way
we saw
contracts,
that,
man.
Hey, we signed him to a 10-day or whatever, and it's just really great to see some of these guys that didn't really have a chance to. Maybe they went undrafted or whatever.
That kind of goes back to our conversation that we had, I think it was 2 podcasts ago, about the G League kind of becoming a legit league now, where you got these guys on 2-way contracts, and they're playing in NBA games, and then they go back down to the G League and play. And
Jonathan Simmons went off for the Magic, and he He wasn't even in the G League. He paid to be in the G League. He paid $150 to be in the G League.
I mean, the G League's becoming a legit league, and that's part of it, is that these two-way contracts are really boosting it up.
I'm just going to wait to make that call for a little bit while longer. I think it's too early to make that assessment.
Well, maybe not as like a real league, but the fact that, because baseball, if you see baseball, how they do it is they call up people from A-ball all the time.
Right.
And it's just like a normal thing. I think the...
Albert Pujols.
Yeah, exactly. I think the stigma of going down to the growth league has changed. How it was, hey, if I go down into this NBA bracket, I'll never be back up. Like, we can't make it. But now that everybody's kind of crossing that line, everybody's a little more comfortable going down. It's like, hey, I'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's really changed over the last couple of years.
And they know that they can continue to put that work in and just continue to get better.
It's almost a legit minor league now, as opposed to what it was before. I mean, you have team affiliations just about across the board.
Yeah.
That helps.
Definitely
Two-way
does.
contracts, so I agree with you on that point. I'm not ready to call it like the next great thing, though. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the second best league in the world anytime soon.
The XFL.
Still, though, if you see players making contributions in this year's playoffs that are from the G League, they're not killing, but making contributions for a playoff-ready team.
That's a matter of logistics to me. I mean, you can't call out people from Europe like on a 10-day contract.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying that look at what's going to happen in the future is that you're going to see this more often because these guys are going to be NBA ready because they are getting that experience during the season. When you used to call up a G League player or a D League player, that was it. You had to call them up, sign them to a 10-day, sign them to another 10-day, and then decide if you wanted to keep them. Now you got the two-way contracts where, all right, you're with us, you can play for us today, and then tomorrow you got a G League game, we're going to send you back down. That's awesome for the league where it's just these players are going to get so much better quickly.
At the end of the day, if you compare it to any other major league, NBA, well, basketball, there's 5 starters. There's only 5 people that can play for you at any given moment.
Right.
As opposed to baseball where there's 9 plus pitchers are obviously completely interchangeable.
Right.
NHL, you have, what, 20 dress players per game. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just it's a numbers game. It's bound to happen eventually, but it's not the same as baseball or hockey. But I see your point. It is going to happen with more frequency, but I don't. Yeah, because it's not like you're going to find the next Kevin Durant in the G League.
No, you're not. But still, though, having a serviceable player, I mean, guys who do great things in the NBA, a lot of them come from the D League, G League, and then I just think that the quality of player is going to continue to improve. I strongly believe that.
I'd like to look at the complexion of a roster as far as how many of the people on a given roster come from first round pick, second round pick, and undrafted. I would think that the majority are former first round picks.
I don't know. I don't know about that, man.
No, I don't know. Alex Caruso, who plays for the Lakers, went undrafted, and he literally tried out for the team.
Yeah.
And he's playing with the Lakers right now. He's killing it.
Yeah.
Shout outs to him.
Well, we will say the Bulls roster. Let's take a look briefly. Dunn,
Let's.
Dunn, Levine, Markkanen, Payne, Portis, Vonleh, Valentine, the 7 first-round picks. Lopez, yeah. All first-round picks. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, fine.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to have that Caruso exception every once in a while. Every team is bound to have at least 1 or 2 guys that come out of nowhere just to be the 13th and the 14th guy on the roster. And with injuries, attrition, you're bound to get some playing time, and maybe something happens, you have a good game.
Some true hoopers like Gerald Green going off.
First round pick. Thanks.
He was a first-round pick, and
Martell Webster,
but
same draft.
wow. I think
High
Gerald
schoolers.
Unbelievable.
I think Gerald Green, though, had a couple stints in the D-League.
Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't. I mean, it's okay if you were in the D-League.
Yeah.
But,
There's also
you're talking about the people that are Jonathan Simmons paid to get on the D-League team. I'm talking about former first-rounders. I mean, your boy Marquise Teague, he was sent down a few times, right?
Oh, boy. Just signed for the rest of the season with the Grizzlies.
Just, by the way, the only thing Eddie loves more than ZLD
Is
is MTD.
No. Yeah, actually, you're right. Okay, so Well, I mean, obviously the G League thing has to, we'll give it time, but you might see more rosters filled out with their G League affiliate, with the team's G League affiliate in the future.
That's fine, and I don't think that's really what we were talking about. I mean, I understand that, and that's the way it should be, but
Definitely should be.
I don't see too many Jeremy Lins coming through the door, is my point.
Antonio Blakeney, Rookie of the Year in the G League, for real. He won the Bulls game against Memphis, which they probably should have lost. All right, y'all. Our third segment of the night is going to be about the NBA has a problem with refs. A lot of players are feuding with refs. Kevin Durant has been ejected 5 times this year. Raul's boy, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
He had been ejected 1 time in his entire 10-year career before the season. When a ref is inconsistent or ignores a player when they're talking to him, that's what pisses players off. Is when you'll see this sometimes where a ref will just player will be talking to him and he'll be ignoring him, he'll be looking past him or something like that. He's not listening to him, or it'll be just like, get out of here, like get out of my face. Like that kind of garbage is what upsets players the most. When that kind of happens, what's the player supposed to do? He's being disrespected.
But at the same time, if this player started complaining about calls from the first quarter, and now I'm in the third quarter or the beginning of the third quarter, and you come out of halftime and you just are doing the same thing and you're complaining, what's this ref going to do? I need to get this ball out of bounds. We need to continue play. The game's got to go on. I can't listen to you complain the whole time.
I know.
And basketball's the biggest bang-bang game out of all the sports. It's the biggest component of continuous action other than maybe hockey.
To be honest, I think the best way to improve the officiating is just give an explanation, give a short, brief explanation. So if they're calling, it's like, well, you're doing this, and you're doing that, and then all that chatter would go down dramatically.
They're complaining about getting hacked. That's all it is. What do you say to that as a ref if you don't call it?
If you're a ref, consider how many times during the game a player has come up to you complaining about a call. It's probably at least 2 a minute. Like two contests per minute.
5 if Kevin Durant or Blake Griffin's playing.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So, I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree that maybe they should give like a little explanation, but again, you do have to continue the game and you have to get the game going, and you can't just...
I'm just going to say this, because all the great refs did it. Steve Jabby did it. Dick Bavetta did it. They gave him a good conversation between the dead balls. Or between TV timeouts.
I'm sure that still happens, though.
I don't see it, because they're all complaining, and Kevin Durant is getting ejected more times than he has in his whole career. So I don't think it's happening.
About 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I mean, it became common knowledge that the more you complain, the more likely it is that you're gonna get a call. And too many people found out about it to the point where everyone's complaining. And now, what's the flip side of that?
Okay.
The refs are just gonna tune you out, and that's normal. That's the way it should be, quite frankly. I have no problems with what the refs are doing. I think too many people are bitching right now in the NBA. And they have a reason to do that. There's statistical evidence that if you bitch, you'll get the call.
I mentioned this a while back to you guys. I think what they should do is every time you bitch about a call, the other team gets a point.
Yeah.
A free point.
538.com provided a chart of bad calls and bad non-calls within the last 2 minutes of a game that's decided within 3 points, okay? The top 5 teams with the most bad calls, either calls that go against them or non-calls that...
Thunder's got to be there.
Yep. So top 5 non-calls are calls that were not called for them. Basically offensive, you got hacked.
Got it.
Yep. Top 5 teams are the Nets, Mavs, Nuggets, Thunderbolts. Why is that?
4 of the 5, they're pretty young teams, so they're not going to get
Exactly.
any calls. The
That's
Thunder,
ridiculous.
The Thunder, the reason why is they probably complain too much. Collectively as a team.
Not at all.
No, they're not even in the top 5.
Not even
as
close.
far as most complainers.
You want to know why it's the Thunder?
Why?
Because of Russell Westbrook.
Exactly. That's my
Russell
point.
Westbrook is the guy that everybody loves to hate. I think the way that Russell Westbrook's demeanor sometimes kind of rubs not only the refs the wrong way, but also a lot of people the wrong way. I think that's kind of the reason why it's easier to make calls against him.
Russell Westbrook goes hard every single play, so he can get a foul every time. But because it's going sideways, just because it's going sideways with the attitude with the refs, he's not going to get the calls. And then the other teams with the Bulls and all that with the Nets, they're just young teams and they don't care. You know, they're not. They will. I know I've seen Laurie with his hands up once in a while, but after one time, he's just going to put them down, and he knows that this is the game. We got to grind.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure this out our own way.
Why is it like this? Why do you have to have a team full of players, or why do you have to have a team with established players to get calls in the last 2 minutes of games?
NBA refs also don't get a chance to police themselves anymore. There used to be this kind of respect between players and NBA refs where, hey, I saw you get hit on this, like, you know, even the old makeup call.
Yeah,
where
I owe you one.
Or if somebody attacks the basket and they get fouled, but, you know, I got fouled, but it went off me out of bounds. So now I'm stuck in a position where I know it went off you out of bounds, and I didn't call the foul as a ref, so I have to give the ball to the other team because if this gets replayed, then all of a sudden I'm wrong. So I can't just give you, hey, you know, send the ball back the other way. This guy got fouled. We're all good. Police itself. Now I have to complain as a player because this is all wrong. This is all backwards. I got fouled. It was off me, but he definitely hit me. What am I going to do? The worst thing that came out for the refs was the last 2-minute report. Ever since everybody was judging these last 2 minutes reporting, there was a bunch of missed calls. I'm a Spurs fan. I got hosed. Yeah, we got hosed by
one play
on a Dion Waiters elbow. They're always under scrutiny now. So even if I make a good call and I have a bad call, or the 10 good calls I make and I have one bad call, I'm gonna be judged on that bad call. And if you think you get fouled more often than not, and you raise your hands, now those 9 good calls I made, 7 of them seem like bad calls because you're upset.
Yo, man, that was a very good explanation. Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for educating us, V.
Maybe I should be a ref.
Maybe you should not be. All right.
Throw a text like a ref.
We're gonna shut it down here at Contested Layups tonight.
Sounds good.
Let's go and shut it down here.
We're gonna go our final thoughts. Who's got final thoughts?
I got one. Alright. Kerry Kittles was shit on Doug Christie. Listen. Kerry Kittles individually over Doug Christie would smash Doug Christie.
He would.
But the Sacramento Kings would smash the Nets.
They would not.
And the only other thing I have to say about this is, shout out to Hedo Turkoglu and Peja Stojakovic.
Paid you? Who paid you?
I'm gonna go. Our boy Pat Miller wanted to call out Kevin Durant for his podcast interview on Bill Simmons' podcast. Pat said he sounded like an 18-year-old and was complaining about a bunch of shit. And I thought that was... I listened to the podcast. At least when he was on the podcast, he was like... He sounded way worse than we do. But it was actually kind of interesting because he kind of reflected on things that he wants to do past the NBA, or things that he's doing outside of the NBA right now, him and his agent. And that was kind of cool, just to hear about that, how he wants to grow the game of basketball, similar to what we're doing here at Contested Layups. So,
all right, guys, I'm gonna give Eddie a little bit of love. He says a lot of stupid shit all the time.
What?
Thanks.
But
I'm very upset about this.
his pick of Thunder not making the playoffs is looking pretty good right now.
No, it's not.
They're like a game out, so...
Don't worry about it.
Told y'all. Told you. Told you who told you.
Don't worry about it.
I'll give you Spurs. The Spurs might not make it. That's your point.
No, you know what? I'll go back to my original pick. Like a month and a half ago when Jimmy Butler got hurt, I said that the Timberwolves will miss the playoffs. I never really officially backed off of that stance, but then at one point I did say that the Spurs may not make it. I think the Timberwolves miss the cut this year. So that's all I'm gonna say. Although OKC gets an honorable mention ahead of the Spurs.
OKC is clearly going to make the playoffs. But my final thought is...
Not if they don't get the calls.
Yeah, clearly. Ooh. Clearly. My final thought is in regards to something that they were talking about on a players-only broadcast. They were talking about all NBA team and who's going to make it this year.
Right.
And Greg Anthony said that he wouldn't put Russell Westbrook on it because the Thunder isn't as good as they're supposed to be. there's only so much that Russell Westbrook can do. I don't know, man. I think throughout this whole year, the Thunder was scrutinized and criticized for not being as good as they're supposed to be. Realistically, nobody really saw them outside of the 3rd or 4th seed anyway, but 4 through 8 is all up in the air.
4 through 10.
So 4 through 10 is all up in the air with virtually the same records. So if you're going to say that OKC isn't playing as good as they, like, what about these other teams then? Are they not playing as good as they're supposed to be? Yeah, they're a new team. They're trying to figure things out, but they've got on hot streaks and they've shown that they can ball. They can ball with the best. That's all I really wanted out of them. If they make the playoffs, then I'm fully confident that they can go far. But, you know, there's a bunch of teams that are really good that aren't going to make it. So it is what it is.
Yep. Go ahead, Giannis.
I'm gonna say this: all roads lead to Golden State, and till said otherwise, we are the defending champs. See ya.
Hold on. I have to do this. I bet you that OKC will not make it
To the playoffs?
to the playoffs.
Wow.
2 minutes of stand-up.
Fine.
Oh my God!
There's a shake.
It's the official first bet.
So this is our first bet on the Contested Layups podcast. Tim, our friend Tim, is here and he's a witness. Thank you again for tuning into the Contested Layups podcast. Remember, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Type in Contested Layups episodes for full episodes and more.
And don't forget to tune in about a week and a half when the Thunder miss the playoffs and Raul has to do 2 minutes of stand-up.
Hope you guys are ready for some dad stand-up. It's going to be a bunch of dad jokes.
This is going to be great. I can't wait to hear this.
Why would I throw out my phone? It's not even broken.
Yep. It begins.
Have a
stand-up begins.
great Friday, everyone. Bye.